There she is, our forest elf.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Sorry, I was just like, I've
And
forgotten how
there's
to be a
Mary.
buzz.
You've forgotten how to be online.
Yes.
God, it's hot as fuck here.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's not good.
And I just got out of the shower.
Oh God, I hate that.
Shouldn't be
You're
this
never gonna
hot.
cool down. Oh,
Hi, everybody.
You guys are right in the midst of a heat wave, huh?
Did we ever get out of it?
Well,
It did stop for like a minute.
yeah. I feel like one or two of the days I was there, my last days, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was a tiny bit better. Yeah.
it's not that hot down here, Mary. So it's super hot for you guys. Just a few miles away.
Well, I just rode my trainer, which always makes me sweat, which is a good thing. And then I got in the shower. But yeah, it's not cool. And I haven't even gone outside yet. So
Oh shit. Sorry.
that's all right.
It's 70 and rainy here.
Oh,
I want rain.
Yeah.
I never wanted rain so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Luckily, because I got home and our AC went out. I think because my roommate basically lives in the basement, he probably didn't even really notice that the AC was out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Hate that.
Did you get it fixed or?
I mean, as with everything with the landlord and whatever, it takes like a week, and now it's going to be on another couple of days. So thankfully it's not too hot, but.
And you're leaving on Friday.
I'm leaving on Friday at 1. Let me just real quick write to my daughter. Oh, she said, no problem, just saying hi.
Right.
Yeah, I'm leaving on Friday I'm on a 1 o'clock flight.
AM or afternoon?
No, one
afternoon.
1 in the afternoon, and then I get in at midnight on Saturday. You kind of forget how long those flights are. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's a 24-hour flight. And then you're like, yep, that's what it's always been. It's always been that.
When you're coming from the East Coast, it's such a bummer. I mean, that was one of the drivers for us, aside from not wanting to live on the East Coast anymore, to move to the West Coast so that we'd be more or less in between. So
right.
That, we wouldn't have that 5 hours just to get to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just needed to be more equal, I suppose. After having done those trips to Australia from the East Coast several times, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's long and it's hard. If you're arriving at midnight, what are you going to do?
Especially with little
go
guys.
to sleep.
Go to sleep.
I don't know. Try to go to sleep. I don't know. Yeah. I did it for so many years that I don't want to start thinking of it too negatively, because in my head then I'll be whatever. But yeah, I never felt like it was that bad of a trip, but I don't know. I may be just fooling myself.
Great, though.
What's that?
The coming back is great.
Well, I have to say I'm most looking forward to, we're at the Bangkok Novotel. Is the Novotel a chain here, or is that just in Asia?
It's a European international chain.
Oh, okay. And we have both a breakfast and a lunch buffet as part of our package. And I just know, like, I'm going to have to like scope out the buffet on day 1 and then plan what I'm going to eat. I think I was joking about this with Kate actually before I left. And like every day be like, okay, today I'm going to have the noodles, and tomorrow I'm going to have all the Asian sweets, and then for my next meal I'm going to go to the Indian section, and then I'm going to like, it's going to be this like,
what a horrible dilemma to have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My problem would be I would not be able to stop eating all of the delicious food, and then I'd have to go to sleep.
Well, that's everybody's problem. That's why you have to have like a strategy on day 1.
Oh
I'm
man.
definitely going to wake up and go to the breakfast, even if I
Yeah.
get an admin.
Do you have a meeting the next day when you arrive, or do you have the full day to
I
relax?
have all day Sunday to relax. I've got like a work dinner on Sunday night, but
Oh, that's really good.
yeah.
All I can think about, you were saying you wanted to see temples, and I was just thinking about shopping.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of over shopping. I was kind of doing a
Yeah.
little bit of like, okay, what do I want to do in Bangkok? And I think I probably will do like a walking tour of temples.
Hmm.
And then I always like just like I'm that weirdo that's like, I want to go down the back alley in Chinatown and see what's going on. Like, I want to go walk down by the river and see who's still shitting in it, or
Yeah.
like whatever. Like,
Yeah. I would agree with
Let's see
that.
some real
I mean,
culture.
yeah,
that's where
exactly.
all the interesting stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my hotel is very near Soy Cowboy, which is one of the 3 red light districts in
Soy cowboy.
Soy Cowboy. So I don't think I've ever been to Soy Cowboy, although maybe when I get there I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've been here." But so I'll have to go do that one night. But
Is
That
that
sounds like
a
fun.
rough translation or is that
well, Soy is street and then Cowboy, so it's Cowboy Street
hmm,
and it's
gotcha.
yeah.
Where the cowboys hang out.
It's where the
Don't the
cowboys hang out.
don't the districts in Bangkok, the different red light districts, and this is something that I remember from travel agenting with one of the people that I worked with that used to go. Um, they cater to different needs in different districts.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I'm sure they do.
Needs.
Yeah, or different clientele or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
that's um always a differentiated market. In
Mhm.
Jakarta, yeah, in Jakarta there was
Mhm.
like the Western expats, there was the Japan, Japanese clientele, and then, women would, depending on their looks or their skills or their language level or, whatever, would be at different. Where you did not want to be was on the side of the train tracks. I think in any city you don't want to be a sex worker on the side of the train track.
No, no,
I'm sure you've
no.
got those in Portland actually, having just been there.
Mhm.
You've definitely got
Yeah.
some some
Where you've got that, yeah,
low
that's.
level earning sex work in Portland, I'm guessing.
I would think that
Yeah.
that's probably expanded just with the way that Portland is now.
Mhm.
And there's not, maybe, I'm not speaking from knowledge or experience, but
Did I tell you guys about when Gretchen and I went to stay at for our Christmas? Peter was in Australia for Christmas last year. Remember
We
past Christmas?
remember, yes.
And Gretchen and I went and got a hotel at what I still call it the Governor because it's my favorite hotel in Portland, but it's now the Sentinel. But we got one of the upper concierge floors, which has a full balcony and like all of it looks out towards the river and the city. And it was dumping down rain, but we were out there anyway because we don't care. Um, and they all are open, like you can walk out. And here's the balcony. And then if you look down this way, it's an open stretch, like space to all the other balconies. And the girl who was next door to us, why did they put us right next to one another? I don't know. We were the only ones on the floor. But this girl had to have been an escort of some sort because the things that we heard, we entertained ourselves in that hotel, just wandering around and looking at stuff and listening to her through the walls yell at, I'm talking to Gretchen. She's yelling through the hall, through I could hear her. She was on the phone. I want my cats. I was like, cats? Why does she want her cats? And Gretchen like shoves my head up against the wall. She goes, she wants her cash, idiot. Um, so she's screaming about wanting her cash. There were several guys that showed up 1 a.m, looking super duper sheepish when Gretchen and I walk out. But that was like the running joke was basically she wants her cats and lots of fucking cats right fucking now.
Do you think she was a dominatrix or she was just getting stiffed?
I don't know.
Have one after the next.
There was a guy that was in the room with her.
Show me the money and I'll show
Came
you.
back because we could hear them and we were just fucking dying. And then there was a guy that showed up in the morning when we were leaving. But it was just that fact that she was screaming on the phone on the concierge floor of the Governor's Sentinel Hotel that she wants her fucking cash. And we were dying. We're like, do they know? Does the Sentinel Hotel realize that there's a chick on the concierge floor turning tricks? I don't think they do.
The walls are.
Well, now that this is in my head,
entertaining.
I just have to say it. So the first time I went to a brothel in Bangkok was, of course, when I was doing HIV training, back when I was in my early 20s, and we were, the HIV epidemic exploded in Thailand before it did anywhere else. I don't know if you all would remember that, but so it was kind of gay men in the States, and then it started heterosexual transmission. One of the first places it really took off was in Thailand, and it seemed to be because of the sex industry, and also, as it turned out, later found because Thai men are less likely to be circumcised, and that facilitated the transmission of HIV. But here is like a young, it's probably like 22, 23. We went on an exchange visit from little Indonesia, where we have these tiny little brothels of like 100, 200 people. And we go into one of these huge Thai brothels, and all of us were just like completely overwhelmed. And one of the things I will never get out of my memory is we go into a place that had like a stripper pole or whatever, and there was a woman who was lying on a bar shooting ping pong balls out of her vagina. Dana, you're looking like you've seen this.
Oh, I know all of this already.
How do you know this? And I was just like you kind of want to go in there and be like, what's the mechanics of this?
What year was this?
Oh, I would 1990, 91 maybe.
So I mean, I was working
I was young. I was like 22, 23.
Yeah. When I was working as a travel agent in the late 80s, I had my eyes open to, so most of the people that were travel agents were in this time period were women, were gay men. And go away, that's my dentist. And one of the guys that I worked with, and I didn't find this out until later, and I was just like, ugh. He was our quality control guy, and he loved to travel to Thailand. And I didn't find out until right before I was about to leave why he traveled to Thailand so often. He had a really very specific interest, and he could find that in Thailand. But that was one of the other
his
draws.
specific interest was related to ping pongs and vaginas?
No, it was related to little boys. But we used to hear these stories. I know, it's pretty disgusting. We used to hear these stories all the time about these women that, and I was like, how does she do that? Like, how does she pull enough force into her abdomen and her uterus to shoot a fucking ping pong ball down a bar?
That's some Kegels right there.
I know, but even then, I've got like this little Nerf thing that shoots little round balls out of it. They're this big around, and you have to really notch those balls just right in the little thing, and then it takes a lot of force to shoot across the room. Yeah. So did you get to see somebody shoot a ping pong ball out of their badge?
Yes, I did. Yes, I saw it.
And what did you?
Well, I was there for an HIV trip, so you couldn't kind of stop and ask a lot of those types of questions. But
I'd like to visually see how someone prepares their body in order to shoot a ping pong ball out.
I'm sure there's a video of it somewhere online.
I don't even really want to do that. That upsets me. Yeah. That's going down a
me too. And I just think of myself at 23 and still so much navigating. This is like, is sex work okay? Is it not okay? What kind of agency should they have? Because there was so much around like legalization is better for sex workers. And we had a lot of Australia influence at the time in Indonesia. And there was so much, just I don't know, feminism, and it's
Yeah,
okay to have sex with everybody, and patriarchy still exists, and there's still
Yep.
a lot of exploitation out there, and that kind
yeah,
of stuff. So I think little me was, but I do remember vividly seeing that, and
yeah,
just being um and I probably never been in a club like that with so much nudity and dancers and stuff. That's not what
yeah.
Indonesia brothels look like at all. So
Yeah, I would say that South Korean, well, I mean, the brothels weren't, they had more they were colloquially referred to as yobo flats.
mhm.
Um, Yobseo is like a really quick way to say hello, so it's a hello flat. Um,
Mhm.
and it was they were really very small rooms with sliding paper doors that were where all of the South Korean whores would turn their tricks. And we were, I mean, I have to say that all the girls that I went to high school with that hung out in Itaewon, um, because we liked to go to the rock and roll bars and all the
Mhm.
clubs, they were so much fun. We were always on the side of the girls that were having to turn tricks to make a living.
Yeah.
You know, they were on the outside of society, and the soldiers could be really, really big assholes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
but
sure
the
I've got
soldiers would not fuck with white girls.
Mhm.
So you could say something if you
You could
wanted
be
to.
in the same. Oh.
You could be in the same room, and you
Mhm.
could also be like, fuck you,
Oh, they
go leave.
wouldn't they wouldn't harass you. Yeah.
No, but you
Yeah,
could
no
also
Western men
not
were ever
harass
interested
Indian
in me
girls.
in Jogjakarta
Mm-mm.
all those years.
Yeah. I didn't like seeing them treat the girls the way that they did.
Yeah.
It just pissed me off.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I
Rules
remember
alive
saying
and
too
well.
to one guy, so I remember this so clearly because again, I was not a big drinker. Everybody was drunk. I was high all the time. But I said to this one guy who was yelling at this girl who was clearly with him for the evening. We were in this rock and roll bar. It's fucking loud as shit. And I just remember screaming at him, what would your mother think of you right now?
Yeah.
What would you, here we are, we're like talking two 19-year-olds,
Yeah.
me screaming at this guy, and I'm just like, what the fuck would your mom think about the way that you're treating this young woman right now? I don't care what she does for a job. Do not treat her like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got really very bitchy.
Yeah. You do see the ugly side of male behavior in a brothel.
Yeah. And I was not going to put up with that from soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, you're just not, I don't care. You don't treat
Yeah.
women like shit. And your mom would be ashamed of you.
Yeah. Boy, haven't you missed our conversations, Mary?
I have. I was
I'm
doing
so
everything I
sorry we
could to
didn't
get back here
get by to
today.
see your garden. I don't know how we were there for so long and never got by.
I
But Rosaline came
know.
by, right?
What's that?
When Rosaline made it by one day when I was working, or no?
No, we ended
Oh,
up going to a movie, and then when the movie got
Oh,
out,
that's
it
right.
was
You went to the
like
movie.
she said, "Yeah, we have time," and Kate's like, "No, no, we don't. We need to go
Mhm.
home and have a last cup of tea, and then send you off."
Right.
oh,
That was the day she went to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last day.
Did you hear what I did on my last afternoon in Portland?
No.
Well, on Thursday, I was leaving on Friday at 10 p.m. On Thursday, I told a little birdie that my dream would be to be floating in a lake drinking a beer for my last hours in Portland. And that's what
Oh,
happened.
awesome.
We got in the car, and we followed Dana and her trunk full of inflatable toys.
That's perfect. Where'd you go?
I don't know. Where'd we go,
Um,
Dana?
we went just past Estacada on Highway 224, like you know where the like if you go down the big hill and that's where the reservoir on the Clackamas is, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's
Nice.
a little right there. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was
Oh,
gorgeous.
nice.
And we saw an osprey belly flop and catch a fish,
Nice.
and then go up into a tree and eat the fish.
Eat its lunch.
For like half an hour, we were watching this bird eat
Yeah.
its lunch. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Nice.
No, and I was
So
wondering
close
too,
up. We were so close up.
I wonder, did it purposely hit the water that hard to stun that fish? I
I don't
kept
know if
thinking
it,
about
do you think
that.
it was definitely the same bird or was it a different bird?
I don't know.
We don't
It
know.
seemed like there was so much that was happening. You know, there was a lot of bird action and
Yeah. Yeah. It was really,
salamander.
and then
It
we
was
just
neat.
drove home and I changed my clothes and went to the airport.
What a perfect afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. It was fun.
I do love to float on some water.
No kidding.
It actually made me come home here and I was like, where the hell can I float on water within an hour's drive of DC?
That's a good question. Where?
Mhm. Well, I never get that far in those kinds of things. I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be nice to know? And then I look online. Of course, it's all these commercial places of like rent a tube for, too expensive.
Went to tube and float in some kind of bacterial laden
Yeah,
swill.
exactly.
I'll have to ask my friend who lives in Chevy Chase, and she
I know. I'm looking at the
knows
map.
a lot of ins and
Where
outs
could
of
she go?
the area.
Apparently, Lord, the singer Lord, um, Royals, the song Royals.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a Kiwi singer. Yeah. She was in DC recently and she swam in the Potomac. And people, so she was like, "Hey DC, I really love swimming in the Potomac today." And everybody was like, like flipped out. Like,
Go shower.
I know.
No. No. Girl,
It's
I
like,
wouldn't swim in it now,
okay,
and I
Kiwi
would not have
girl, we
swum
don't
in it
swim in the
like
rivers.
50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that one.
It was
Okay,
actually,
I'm looking here. Okay, so Bethesda, Bear Island. If I were you,
Cabin
I
John.
would be heading, I'd definitely be heading up the river towards, like,
I'm
there's
taking
Great
notes.
Falls. I'm looking to see how far I've been up the river here. Okay, there's Martinsburg.
Oh wait,
Germantown.
Falls Church is
No.
my friend is.
You know what I would look at? So it looks to me like there's a somewhere near Crockley and Bear Island.
Okay, I don't know Bear Island.
It looks like that's a wetland, but it looks like there's
Do you see
I mean,
Cabin John on there? North of
yeah.
Bethesda? I think there might be
Uh-huh.
things around Cabin John.
Yeah, it looks like Cabin John Creek, anywhere where there's that green space. I mean, it'd be neat if you could rent a kayak. There's got to be a place somewhere along there where you can rent a kayak just for the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Because there's Turkey Island, Vaso Island, Herzog Island, all of that looks.
Did I tell you this? I used to have a colleague who lived over in Alexandria and she biked to some place where she kept her kayak and then she kayaked. I want to say it was from Alexandria. She kayaked over the Potomac, got out in Anacostia down on, past the wharf and then biked to the office. So she kayaked every day as part of her, or I don't know every day, but on a regular basis, she kayaked to the office.
That's one way to
looking at where you could do that. So
I'm pretty sure she was, or maybe she was kind of closer to, maybe she was kind of between Reagan Airport and, the Lincoln Memorial. Maybe that's where she was coming in. I don't think it was a super long kayak.
Wow. I'm just looking at, I'm remembering when we were kids, my dad used to take us to Quantico all the time, the Marine base, because there's a private beach that was there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that was before you used to see people kayaking all the time, but there were a lot of dead fish there. That was for sure.
Well, that river is much, much healthier now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that they cleaned it up. Well, the Chesapeake Bay is healthier too, because the Chesapeake Bay was not healthy when we lived there, and now it's in much better hands.
Yeah.
Wow, what a neat commute though.
Yeah.
I had forgotten all of this. I need to see
Yeah,
this
we're
shit
so
again.
close to water. I mean, I kind of, not that I forget, but I'm not on the waterfront very, very often.
There's my old house.
I used to be more often when I was in Arlington because you always had to come across the river to get into town. But now I don't have any real reason to go to the river. Except I did go see down at the wharf, Navy Yard wharfs has been all gentrified now. It used to be all, you know, a Black community and you know, selling seafood stalls and stuff, and now it's all like high-rise apartments and stuff. But on the wharfs they still have all kinds of activities, and there was the Chuck Brown go-go band, DC go-go band was playing on Saturday night, so I went to see that with a friend, which was really fun. Yeah, Chuck Brown died like 10 years ago, but his son Wiley Brown is still keeping the band together and playing. I mean, you would recognize so many of their songs, and they had such an influence on pop music, pop and I guess R&B music. So I knew a lot of the words to some of the songs.
Hey, how close are you to the U.S. National Arboretum?
The one on the east side of town. I'm probably like 5 miles. 5 miles.
I don't know, man. You might want to look along there somewhere and see if there's anywhere that you can rent a kayak.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of. I'm just looking at it. It just looks a lot of little islands, places to explore. I'd be surprised if you can't find a place. And
maybe
that's so
my
close
roommate
to
would
you.
know something about that because he takes the Greenpeace boats out on the Anacostia on that side of the town.
Can I go out with him when I visit? Please?
Yes, if he's around, I'm sure you can.
For me.
To go out on the Greenpeace boats.
Fuck yes, are you kidding me?
Well, he just goes out and like tools around and makes sure that the steering wheel isn't loose, and you know, he scouts out things and stuff.
I would love
But we might be able to arrange for you to come during an action where we like holding a banner in front of Joe Manchin's houseboat or something like that.
Yes, please. I would absolutely do that. That man makes me so fucking mad. Fuck you. You're not a Democrat, you wanker. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, that would be really neat. The only other thing that I think would be like super exciting and mega terrifying would be to be on one of the Sea Shepherd boats out in the middle of the ocean chasing after illegal whalers. I would be shitting myself every day, but I don't know if I could look away. Yeah.
Yeah, Davey's done that kind of stuff. My roommate Davey.
Find out.
Yeah.
Ask Davey if they take civilians.
Yes. We're trying to get everybody to come to DC, Mary, when Craig says he's going to have a board blah 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 thing in DC in November. So we're like, everybody needs to come.
Yes. Wow. I mean, all of a sudden, I can't tell you like the thrill that I got when you said an action in front of Joe Manchin's houseboat with Greenpeace. I was like, I think I'm sure they're happening. Panties or something.
There might have been a couple of
she creamed her panties over Joe Manchin's houseboat. Yeah, I bet there's stuff happening this week because didn't he negotiate some drilling rights and whatever the climate change package was, blah blah blah.
That would not surprise me.
I'm pretty sure the Appalachians are coming to town this week. I've seen some of that.
Keep me posted.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, shall we get started, guys? Even though I feel like I could talk for an hour. You have a doctor's appointment?
Yeah.
Okay.